was a Good Friday that didn't turn out good for travelers on that Oron route who were kidnapped by, we call them pirates, kidnappers, bandits on the seas, whatever name you want to give them. These people, over 20 of them, remain in captivity over a week after. At first, you had the police, particularly in Cross River, saying, well, we're not quite sure. We've not confirmed what happened. But you had the police in Akwa saying, yes, indeed, this happened. But it happened on the Cross River end of the Waterway. But the point is, what happens in instances like this? If this is running into 2 weeks, what more must we do to ensure that every Nigerian is safe, whether you're on the roads, on the waterways, in the forests, ensure safety for all Nigerians? Because that's what government is all about, the security and welfare of its citizens. And we're joined on the program today by former Commissioner of Police in Anambra State, Mr. Deremi Adeoye, is right here with us in our Abuja studio. Welcome to the morning brief, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
Well, it's good to have you on the show, and one can only imagine what these travelers are going through right now as we speak, because being held under such circumstances is traumatizing. Some of them may be harmed. We're not even sure of their state, and that leaves a lot to be desired. But I want to start from this end. When this incident happened and, newsmen reached out to the police, the Akwa Ibom police confirmed and said, well, yes, but it happened on the Calabar side. And then, newsmen reached out to the Cross River police. And at that point, the police said, well, we're not aware of such up until a few days ago when a sort of confirmation was made. So why is it at first it has to be the people that will take the news to the police of such magnitude in that sense, and then it takes a while for the police to be able to confirm what exactly happens behind the scenes before we get into the nitty-gritties?
All right. Thank you very much. First and foremost, my thoughts are with the families of the victims. I can imagine the anguish they are going through right now. I also feel for the victims who are in captivity under inhuman conditions. When incidents like this happen, I think the problem of communication has to do with the topography of where the incident occurs on the waterways. If it was something on land, for example, there are police formations everywhere, information traveled fast. But on water, policing on water is done by the police marine section. And just like the land forces are overstretched, even the marine police capabilities are actually more than overstretched, because the equipment they have, both to patrol waterways and personnel, are not the numbers that it should be. And so the capacity to be everywhere is actually not there. So normally they have to rely on human intelligence. That is, those who witness what happened, giving information, this is what we saw. Now, in circumstances where there are no boats nearby, when the incident occurs, you may not have an eyewitness that will relay the information to formations. Now, when Akwa Ibom confirmed that, yes, they have information about the incident, but it happened in Cross River waterways, the next thing they ought to have done is to alert Cross River Command, because the boat took off from Akwa Ibom. And if the jurisdiction is in Cross River, then one, they need to alert Cross River Command, and two, the two commands need to work together, all right, to locate the victims and rescue them as early as possible. Now, it is difficult to imagine such a large number of passengers being ferried into town, okay? So you can imagine that, well, the hideout will be somewhere in the mangrove, in the swampy areas, and what have you. So then there ought to have been in place a robust relationship, all right, with the people in all these areas, so that when any untoward thing like this is going on, somebody somewhere will put it across a call.
Right.
I mean, we're in the communication age, where you have mobile phone, it's almost everywhere, and all it takes is a phone call, a WhatsApp message, an SMS to alert the authorities. But you alert when you have the numbers, okay? So when the people in the immediate vicinity do not even have contact of their DPO, they don't have contact of any officer they can call, then there's a problem. So I believe that is what is responsible for that communication gap.
I really hope that that is going to be sorted, because you expect that all the commands are able to work together. I imagine there's maybe a central communication system, a dashboard where you're able to see. But let's now speak to the nitty-gritties of this case, understanding that the lives of these people are at stake. So there's usually some sort of mixed messaging. Sometimes you've heard family members say the police told them, well, negotiate yourself. You know, there's really nothing we can do as a police. So find a way to have a conversation with these people and compromise. We've heard that before. Then you hear the government saying, well, no ransom must be paid. You must not pay ransom. This government is against ransom. We must not encourage kidnapping. So it's mixed signaling. The family member obviously wants their people back, and they want them back as soon as possible. So what is a standard operating procedure for the police in cases like this, whether it's a marine police or the, you know, the everyday police? What's the SOP? And what kind of assurances does the police really give? Because in other crimes, they'll tell you, we will get you. It might take days, but we will get you. But here, kidnappings happen and we don't hear anything after. So the SOP and the assurance.
Okay, you know, globally and in line with international best practices, paying ransom to kidnappers is not endorsed or approved or encouraged. The police will not be part of ransom negotiation or ransom delivery, except as a bait with a view to nabbing the kidnappers. Government will not support it, and let me tell you the reason. It is obvious. When you pay ransom, the criminals are motivated to do more, all right? Because it then becomes lucrative, okay? So when they are paid ransom, they get money, funds to acquire more weapons, to acquire logistics, and to carry out more daring raids. So paying ransom imperils the entire society, put more people at risk of being abducted, as you may, you know, look at it. Now, but let me mention something. No one will have his relation in captivity, and if he has hope of getting that relation back, and the only thing to do to get that relation back is to pay ransom, most people will pay. Most people will pay, as long as they have assurance that their loved ones will be released. Even though it is not encouraged, even though it may be unlawful, even though it may be illegal, practically people pay. Okay? Now, but it is important that whatever the family is doing, they carry the police along. I will tell you why. When kidnappers abduct people, usually it's for ransom. Basically, it's for ransom. Majority of the cases, it is for ransom. And if it is for ransom, they will definitely contact family members, friends, loved ones, anyone whose contact is available on the phone of the victim. They will reach out, okay? Now, if they reach out and the family members intimate the police that we have been contacted, they are demanding for ransom, all right? The police can then get the number with which the call was made and begin to track with a view to locating the hideout or where the call was made from. If family members hide this information, police has nothing to work on. And a lot of times, the people, out of fear, because the kidnappers will threaten them, don't tell the police, don't go to the police, don't go to any security agency. If you do, we are watching you, and we will know, and we will kill your loved one. So they issue those threats. And for that reason, many families don't actually intimate the police. Now, but when you talk of ransom payment, let me tell you something. Even in the international space, both governments, corporate bodies, individuals, sometimes, if there is no other way to save their loved ones, to save their staff, crew of ships and vessels, they pay ransom. It's not encouraged, it's not lawful, but it happens. There was an incident off the coast of Somalia where ransom was paid by a government, an European government, but as they were paying, they have forces ready. Once the victims are rescued, they swoop in with 4 helicopters, ambush the kidnappers, nab all of them, and recover the ransom money.
And that's the point I was making.
That is how it should be.
Yes, and that's the point I'm making.
How it should be.
We
but
have these incidents.
Collaboration.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You've talked about the devices, for example,
yes.
of the victims. Time and again, you've heard different accounts. Sometimes you hear that this tracking device has broken down. Sometimes they'll tell you, well, you have to pay to use it. Some, they just stay aloof altogether. But this is an age of technology. There will at least be one mobile phone or mobile device to ping in that place. We can talk about, fight against terrorism and banditry, where people tell you, well, don't you know where these people are? I'm sure you know. For the police of a country like Nigeria, you should know these things. So is it that they, as it is right now, from your experience, they don't know where they are, or they know where they are and they're trying to be careful, or they're just saying, family, you resolve this yourself? I would hate to think that a whole Nigeria police force is not able to track the location of these kidnappers.
You see, the devices that are available to the police is a function of the funding they received. I have said it before that Nigeria police is grossly underfunded. The tracking devices are not available in every command. All right? Yes, I'm aware it's available in Abuja, the headquarters. Then there are a few commands where private initiatives have been taken to acquire it off the normal official channel. But in most places, it is private individuals who are licensed by maybe the National Communication Commission, all right, that operates these tracking devices.
So individuals are more equipped than the police in that sense?
No, if you take it as a business, you invest in it, you acquire the gadgets, it's your business.
Yeah, but that's an equipment that the police should also have.
Yeah, the police should have it, but it depends on if the funding is available for it. We are talking of 36 commands, we are talking of how many divisions? Over 774 divisions, because every local government has at least one police division. And these devices are expensive. The allocation a DPO gets is not enough to run the station for more than 2 weeks. So from where is he supposed to get money to buy tracking devices that run into millions of naira?
Is that why they pay for bail, pay for transport?
Well, paying for bail is illegal. Actually, it's unlawful to demand or receive payment for bail.
No.
So it's unlawful.
Let's be clear. It is still being collected.
Yeah, practically.
It is still being collected.
The evil is still there. That does not make it legal or acceptable. No matter how rampant it becomes, no matter how rampant it is, no matter how much of it has been checked, bail is supposed to be free at the police station level. Even in court, when the court posts a bond, you don't pay cash. It is only when the accused person cannot be found that the surety is now made to pay the bond.
So many things still happen today, and it's vivid, it is open.
Yes.
You pay for bail, pay for generator, pay for petrol, pay for transport, pay for literally everything. There is no Nigerian that goes to the police station, except on rare occasions when you have the upstanding officers. But hardly would you find a Nigerian going to the police station just to lodge a complaint, and you leave the place without parting with a few thousand nairas. But I want to go back to the question I raised about assurance. Because you mentioned other crimes where these things happen, they will tell you, we will get you. So what kind of assurance then does the police bring on board as the primary security agency in cases like this kidnapping?
I was going to say you are veering off the discussion, but you have rerouted us back to the issues at stake.
No. These issues they're related.
I have been a divisional police officer. I have been in charge of operations in a state, and I've been a commissioner of police in a command. And all through this, I've had countless number of instances, not only in my division, but in several other divisions I knew as a DPO, that I spend my money to put smile on the faces of victims of crime. Now, when somebody is a victim of crime, anyone with human compassion should lift the burden, make it lighter, and not to add to it. Imagine a situation where somebody has been robbed of his car and he comes to you in anguish. They've stolen my car, they've robbed me of my car and this and that, and you say, bring money for us to do this. It's heartless. Yeah. But I think it has to do with the individual personnel concerned. It's not an institutional thing. So in many places, you see policemen doing diligent work, going out of their way, putting their life at risk, going beyond the call of duty to solve crime, to put smiles on faces of people, to bring succor. Yeah. So I think what we need to do more is motivate these police officers, make their wages a living one, and provide the tools they need to do the work, then supervise them. Supervise them to make sure they carry out their jobs in accordance with the dictates of the law. That would be a way out.
So what assurances then, and I imagine that you're putting yourself in the shoes of maybe the commissioner in the state, because these are things you have done before. What kind of assurances would the family be getting right now, or should the family be getting from the police, the primary security agency?
You see, apart from assurances, I think the best assurance the families can get is to see the police actually working. All right? They need to see the police going out, taking steps, combing everywhere and contacting their sources for information and intelligence, you know, to locate where these people are and carry out a safe rescue operation. If a rescue operation will put the lives of the hostages at risk, then it's better not, you know, not carried out, because the aim is to get them out alive and unhurt. So if a rescue operation will imperil their lives, then it's better suspended until they regain their freedom.
Well, let's go over to Lagos. Jeffrey also wants to put some questions through. Jeffrey.
All right, CP, a few questions I want to put across, and maybe you can help us intervene. So going back to the incident on the Calabar Oron-Calabar Waterway that has become a hotbed for pirates and people who abduct people. The challenge here, and I would like you to speak to it since you've been a commissioner of police. When the incident happened on Good Friday, 1 week after, a reporter had reached out to us, my colleague Kayode has said, to the Akwa Ibom State Command, the Akwa Ibom State Command acknowledged that, yes, they are aware, but it's not within their waters. However, they are in talks or collaboration with the Cross River State Command. They reached out to the Cross River State Command. The PPRO flatly said nothing like that happened. Flatly said it's false. So I want you to help us understand what is playing out, because this is outright irresponsibility in my view, and you can help me make sense of the situation. So if the PPRO of Akwa Ibom said, we are aware, we are collaborating, and that of PPRO of Cross River says, we're not even aware, it's either the PPRO of Akwa Ibom is lying or the PPRO of Cross River is lying. But again, let's even assume that the Akwa Ibom Command did not inform the Cross River Command. Something has happened for a week, and a command that shares the jurisdiction with Akwa Ibom is not aware. We're hearing is about 40 people, but the official number is 20. So I want you to help us make sense of how the police should conduct its affairs, because this is painful, this is very annoying to see that simple information as that cannot be shared and nobody can be held accountable 1 week after.
Thank you for your question. I will not think either of the two PROs are lying. I think what is at play is communication gap. And I will not also accept that 1 week later, one of the two commands is still in denial. That cannot be true. And when the PRO of Akwa Ibom, PRO of Cross River said he or she is not aware, the statement was not that nothing of such happened. I'm not aware is different from it did not happen. You are aware of what you are aware of. What you are not aware of, you are not aware of it. So if Akwa Ibom said they are collaborating with Cross River, it depends on that level of collaboration.
CP, my apologies, CP, if you can hear me.
Just let me explain.
Just a moment.
Let me explain.
No, CP, because the language is important. The language we read, I think the Premium Times reporter who contacted them, the PPRO of Cross River said it is false. Those were the words. False is different from, I'll get back to you. We're still talking. What I read
was that I'm not aware, I'm yet to get information.
And we had actually extended an invitation to the PPR or the command of Cross River State to come and do the explainer. They were not forthcoming. So this is we asking you who has experience as to what is really playing out here.
What I'm explaining to you is that if Akwa Ibom is aware of the incident and the Commissioner of Police in Akwa Ibom reached out to the Commissioner of Police in Cross River, at that level, both of them are aware. They would activate their tactical squads, all right, to begin the search for the abducted victims. At that point where the PRO of Cross River was contacted, he or she might not be aware. But like you said, language is important. He or she ought to have communicated and say, I will find out and get back to you. And that ought to have been done promptly. So if that was not the case, then there is a laxity somewhere. Also, in reportage, sometimes wrong impressions are conveyed. If the PRO said, I'm here to get a report of such an incident, and the reporter says the PRO said it is false, all right? You are listening to the reporter You've not talked directly to the PRO. But I think you can reach higher than the PRO. As a media, as a medium, channels as it is, with national and international spread, you must have the contact of the Commissioner of Police. Talk to the Commissioner. If you don't get what you want from the PRO, go higher. And then you get authoritative information. I do not expect the Commissioner of Police to be sleeping pretty at this time when such a large number of people have been abducted and are in captivity. I don't expect any formation, any tactical squad that has responsibility for dealing with such crimes to be resting pretty at this time until those victims are rescued unhurt. I urge cooperation and support for the effort until those in custody are liberated.
All right, CP, at the end of the day, we know what we heard, and we've actually reached out to the command, the Cross River Command, but they were not forthcoming. And we hope that they are watching this as well as the Akwa Ibom Command so that they can come and explain themselves as to Nigerians who they have a responsibility to protect. Because I can imagine you and I sitting here, God forbid anything happens to our loved one, and I'm communicating with a public relations officer of the police command in any command is as good as the police itself. So what is painful is the fact that 1 week after, even if it didn't happen in your jurisdiction, for the fact that you're sharing that boundary, we're supposed to see something happen. But let's move on now to what do you think are the options left to the people? I know that you have spoken with my colleague Kayode as to issues around ransom and all of this, but what do you think the people can see from the police force that will give them the confidence that, okay, their loved ones will be rescued and unhurt? Because these people, I'm sure they use phone and call them to ask for whatever ransom they're asking for. If somebody criticizes government at some point, the DSS will find the person. But when it comes to kidnappers, all of a sudden we don't have enough technology to reach out to catch these people. CP.
First and foremost, I want to say it will not be only Cross River Command or Akwa Ibom Command that will be watching this program. I know the force headquarters will also be watching and also taking interest. And you can rest assured that whatever needs to be done to ensure that those commands affected do the right thing will definitely be done. You will begin to see action and results in the next few days. There will be results. Now, coming to the other issue of what other option is left for the citizenry and what hope lies, for safety, I think, let's be sincere, I think our security forces are overstretched and almost overwhelmed. And the only solution to that is to enhance capacity, to build up capacity. I think, just like the Constitution pointed out, that security and welfare of the people shall be the sole purpose of government. That is the reason for the existence of government at any level. So what I will urge is for the government to take a holistic look at the security situation and take an audit of the capacities of the security forces, tasked to protect 200 million plus Nigerians and visitors, residents, expatriates alike. There is urgent need to beef up capacity, invest heavily in security, better training, better logistics, better technology, so that capacity can be enhanced, because criminality is surging at an alarming rate. And if you talk of piracy, for instance, it didn't used to involve kidnapping. Piracy is robbing of, hijacking vessel, robbing goods, and so on and so forth. But now, abducting people, taking them into hostage, has been added to the mix. So, in addition to other security challenges all over the country, which everybody is aware of, and security forces, I must say, from my own point of view, are doing their best, because I've won the shoes and I know where it pinches. So it is high time Nigeria invest more, up its game, pay greater attention to the security sector, and enhance capacity to be able to deal with these emerging threats. And technology affords a lot of cutting-edge advantage that can be tapped into. For the people of Nigeria, I want to say, my thoughts go to them. I know how it feels when you are vulnerable, all right? So, but please, let them bear with security, let them bear with government. Rome was not built in a day, even though life has no duplicate, and safety of life cannot wait for time. but let them endure. Solution is in sight, and let them continue through their mandate.
Right.
Put pressure on government they elected so that more attention will be paid to security.
I know you've served in the Niger Delta, if I'm correct, served in Port Harcourt, you've served in the Northeast,
yes.
Borno,
yes.
I believe. You served in the Southeast, served
yes.
almost everywhere.
That's right.
And then you retired last year. And then you went into business in some sense, and I know that controversy, which is still on. I understand that about 32 investors have sued you and 4 others to render account of about 1.4 billion naira investment. You made the news last year and all, but how is that going now? Are you rattled? Are you sure that you can pull through this?
Wonderful. There's this saying that a clear conscience fears no accusation. Not just a clear conscience. When you have set out to create wealth for those who have confidence in you, those who trust you, those who have entrusted their resources to you, and you work day and night to justify that trust. If you have a membership of 1,300 plus, and 32 fell out, all right, because they couldn't have their way, and then because of that they start making trouble, it's to be expected. I mean, if you have skeletons in your cupboard, if you have not justified the trust, 1,300 will not remain with your cooperative.
So people still remain.
1,300. And we just paid 100 million naira dividends and bonus shares for them for the last financial year.
I understand the case has been adjourned till, is it June or July?
The case have come up 3 times in court.
Right.
We were there. None of them showed up.
Well, this is one we're following closely.
Yes.
It's a very interesting one.
Yes.
But we have to.
And let me tell you how the 1.4 billion naira they are claiming came about.
No, maybe we'll leave that for the courts, or maybe another time we'll have a conversation
okay,
with you.
That is fine.
But
That's computation. I paid them a lot of
I just
money.
wanted to get a sense of your expectations of this. But we have to thank you so much. Former Police Commissioner, Anambra State, is served across Nigeria, Mr. Jeremy Adeoye. Thank you for your time.
And internationally too, with African Union in Addis Ababa, United Nations in Liberia.
There you go.
I thank God and I thank Nigeria for the confidence it reposed in me.
And we thank you for your time.
I will always serve this country and I will always serve the people.
All right. Thank you very much Former Commissioner of Police.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. We're expecting the best from the kidnap situation. Now, we'll keep staying on this. Hopefully, the Cross River State Police Command and the Akwa Ibom State Police Command are able to give us updates on this collaboration. But we'll take a quick break now. When we return, let's talk about your gadgets and devices at the moment. Stay with us.